Welcome to the Steve Stine Guitar Podcast, brought to you by guitar-zoom.com. If you want to improve your guitar playing, keep listening. If you want to improve even faster, go to guitar-zoom.com, where you'll find all of Steve's premium courses, masterclasses, and memberships that'll help you quickly and easily improve your playing. Now here's your host, Steve Stine.
Kind of messing with it and figure out how it works. But yeah, if you can let me know if where you're at, if you're on YouTube or Facebook or wherever, and we'll just keep going from here, okay? So what we're going to do, let me get rid of this here. What we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit today about arpeggios and how to get a little more interesting with those, okay? So oftentimes when we think of arpeggios, we're always thinking about like sweeps and things. What I like to teach people is how to think about things a bit differently. Maybe what we'll do is look at what we call 2-1-2 shapes and talk about that a little bit and see if I can help you. Hey, how you doing? Hi from California. How you doing out there? Okay, perfect. Let me know if you can see me and hear me okay. Awesome. Hello, everybody. Good. Looking good. Sandy is here. Fellow metalhead is here. Frank is here. Hey, everybody. It's awesome that you're here. Cool. West Virginia, Michael's here. Okay, so let's just get going with this. Thank you, Logan. We're going to get going with this a little bit. I don't want to take way too much of your time. It's just Monday, and I thought it'd be great to give you some creative ideas to think about a little bit if you haven't done this before. Hey, Guy. Hey, Bucket Full of Balls is back. John, King's Ex-Kids. Very nice. Jonathan is here. Poo Ninja is back. John is here. Gary. Hey, Gary. Good to see you, Gary. Gary, I normally hang out with Gary when I go to Gear Fest in Fort Wayne, but this year, of course, there was no Gear Fest, so I didn't get to see Gary. Unfortunately, it's always nice to hang out with him. So anyway, let's go ahead and get going here. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some unique style arpeggios to get a bit more creative with your playing. So we're not going to talk about strict theoretical aspects of playing, root, third, fifth, seventh, ninth, all in a particular order or a sweep picking per se. I just want to get you thinking a little bit differently about how to break out of the usual box of playing your scales when you play like that. So let's say, for instance, we were going to be in G major. Okay, so let's just say we were going to be in G major. Here's something really cool that you can do is figure out where you want to be. Like let's say you wanted to be in G major right here. Hey, Simon. Hey, Craig. Hey, Girish. Oh, my mom is on. Barb is out there. Hello, mother. Okay, and I probably should double check to make sure I'm tuned up here. All right, and that'll be good enough for now. So let's say, for instance, we were going to be in G major, and maybe you know your G major down here. So that's where you're going to be, okay? So let's say we were going to do something a little bit different. Instead of just playing maybe a straight arpeggio or playing just the scale, we kind of use a conglomerate of the two. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play G and B, but more importantly, what I'm doing is I'm playing two notes on that string, okay? And then the next string, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up, I'm going to play the fifth, which is D, okay? But the most important thing right there is that I'm only playing one note on the string. So I'm going from 2 to 1. Okay? And then on the next string, I'm going to shift over again and play 2. Now, before I go any further, I need you to understand that there is no right or wrong to this. I'm just trying to give you some ideas of how you can be more creative with your playing. So when you're doing this sort of thing, it's not like if you do 2 notes on a string, you have to do 1 on the next one, or if you just did 1, you have to do 2 on the next one. It's just exploration, and it's Monday. This gives us something kind of fun to explore as we keep going here. Hey, James. Hey, Elroy. Hey, Wayne, Edward. Ashish is here. Glenda. Emiliano? I think that's how you say it, from Argentina. So glad you're here. So let's keep going here. So we have 2 on this string, 1 on this string, and then we're going to go to 2 on this string, and I'm going to play the major 7th to the 9th. So I'm going. Now, right there, what's really nice about this is if you think about it as I'm playing, it doesn't sound like I'm just going, right? It doesn't sound like that. There's space. Okay, distance between these notes, which is what we call larger intervals, right? So as I'm playing, One thing I want you to notice is when I get to the second note that I'm playing on the 6th string, which is the 7th fret, my pinky right there, the next note that I'm playing is the 5th fret of the 5th string, and that's where we're only playing one note, right? Because I'm playing 2 notes, and then I'm playing 1 note, and then I'm playing 2 notes, okay? So watch this, 2 notes, 1 note, 2 notes. But if you think about it, what's happening is as I play the 2 notes on the 6th string, I can pick these, but I'm slurring them right now. I'm doing a hammer on, okay? And then when I get to this one, I'm going to play this with a down. And then I'm going to play this with the down. And then I'm going to do a hammer on again. Now, you could pick these at any time. It's perfectly fine. I'm just telling you that there's a lot of really unique ways that you can play this so it's comfortable for you, so it works for the way you're playing. Okay? And then sometimes maybe I'll do an upstroke on that last note on the 7th fret of the 4th string, or again, whatever is comfortable. Okay? And all of a sudden we've got this unique kind of sound happening. Now, I can always drop down into my root or, do whatever it is I'd like to do afterward, but I've got this nice spread out grouping of notes. Hey, Gene. Okay, and then what I could do is I could keep going. So I've got, if you know your theory, I'm playing the root, the 5th, or excuse me, the 3rd, the 5th, the 7th, the 9th. I could go to this string and play that. I could play the 5th fret of the 3rd string. Okay, so I have the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th, 13th. I could go to the 5th fret of this string, and now again, you're going to notice I'm just playing groups of 1 now. So, okay, so I have root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th, 13th, and then back to the root, and then back to the 3rd. So I could make a simple pattern like that. And again, if I'm going a little bit too fast, you can always watch this again on whatever platform you're on.
If you're enjoying this episode and you'd like to support the podcast, go to guitarzoom.com and consider becoming a premium member. There are 3 memberships to choose from. VIP, which gives you instant access to a library of short but powerful courses as well as new bite-sized lessons each month. There's also Play Songs that gives you step-by-step lessons so you can learn to play your favorite songs fast. And finally, there's Masterclass, university-level training on everything from soloing to music theory, from blues to home recording. For more info about these memberships and all the premium courses available to you, go to guitarzoom.com. Now back to the podcast.
Logan says, are your arpeggios influenced by Michael Angelo in any way? No, I've never been just, well, I shouldn't say just. I mean, don't get me wrong. Michael Angelo is an incredible guitar player. But for me, I've never played a lot of like just sweeping. I'll use little elements of sweeping here and there. But what I'm looking for here and what this conversation is more about is just trying to get more creative with the way that your movement across the fretboard sounds. But no, amazing arpeggios with Michelangelo and the way he plays. I think it's incredible. And sometimes I like to do those sorts of things too, but today we're not worried about that. So what we're doing here again is going root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th, 13th, root, 3rd. And so you could play this as a sequence. However you like, right? Or maybe you just use a section of it. Okay. So let's take this a little step further now. Now what you do is you start understanding that you're creating this idea. And if you look right there, what I've done is I've used all the notes of the scale in that 1-2-1-2 style arpeggio, where I'm playing 2 notes on some strings, 1 note on other strings. And I've used all 7 notes, okay? By playing the root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th, 13th, root, 3rd, starting over again. But they don't have to be in that order. I mean, you can do whatever you want. Let's say I did something like this. Let's say I went up to G on the 5th string and I played this arpeggio. So it looks like this. Okay, so what I'm doing up here is I'm, again, playing, think of it as 2-1-2. little less about the theory and a little more about the creativity, okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm playing G and B and D, okay? And then F sharp, so I'm playing my root 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, but then right here, I'm going to a B. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm not trying to stay consistent with playing root 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th, 13th. Not necessarily. I'm just trying to make something that sounds interesting and feels comfortable, right? So B is certainly part of the scale, right? It's just not going in that triadic order. And then I'm ending playing D and F sharp again. And if you look, I've got this. Okay? So I'm playing, if you look at it, I've got this big, what we'll call a spread fingering here, going from 10 to 14, and then 12, and then 11 to 14, and then 12, and then 10 to 14 again. So you can see that as I'm doing this, there's a shape happening. There's a comfortable element of playing. So it's not just about theory or something like that. It's really just about trying to create something that is comfortable for you to execute. Now I'm ending on F sharp, so I might want to slide up to the G, possibly, right? Into whatever it is. So there's lots of really unique ways that you can approach your fretboard using this idea of, again, moving a little bit further away from always thinking about it as theory, which isn't bad, right? But thinking about it as creative and comfortable, thinking about that. So think about this now. I'm going to take the same idea. I'm going to take all those same notes. I'm going to take that same, I shouldn't say all those same notes, but I'm going to take that same pattern, that same shape, okay? And I'm going to move it down to C. Now, when I move it down to C, I'm playing the notes C, E, G, B, D, okay? So, right? And then I get here, and I'm playing the note E, and then G, and then B again. So all of those notes fit in the key of G. The difference is I'm not starting on G, I'm starting on C, but I'm playing the same shape on the C. So it's coming off, if you know your theory, it's coming off the 4th. And I could use that same shape down here and go into something more creative like that as well, okay? So let's say, for instance, we were looking at the relative minor to G major, okay, which is E minor. And this sort of works. I see somebody asking about minor pentatonic. The only thing with minor pentatonic is it doesn't allow you a lot of notes. When you're using the diatonic scale, you have more options of pitches. Therefore, it can sound a little more colorful and creative, which is really kind of the point. Hey, Scott, nice to see you. Hey, Mikey. Hey, Ernest. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go to the 7th fret, which is E, and I'm going to create something over the E minor shape. So thinking E minor here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play 7 to 10. So I'm playing root 3rd, 5th, and then I'm going to go to my 7th, right there, which is D. So again, you can see I'm creating a 2, 1, and now we're going to create another 2 pattern. And I'm going to head over to F sharp. So there I'm playing 7 to 11, 7th fret to 11th fret. So I'm playing the 5th, 7th, 9th. And again, I can go back to my root at any time. Okay, and then I'm just going to keep going. Now, what I want to do is create something that feels a little more comfortable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play 10 to 12. So I'm playing another 2 pattern, right? Instead of going to a 1, I'm going to a 2 pattern. So I just did 2 groups of 2, but notice again that they're wider intervals. I'm going from 7 to 11, and then 10 to 12, and then I'm going to play 10 to 12 again. Okay, so I'm going, hey, Peter, yeah, this is definitely live. Hey, Brent. So again, you can hear that it sounds more unique than just simply playing. And I'm not saying that playing scales like that is wrong. Of course we want to do that. But if we do that and we balance it out with something that's a little bit different, it sounds a little more interesting. So if I take these three ideas that I've just shown you, this one, and this one, and this one, I can use those at any time in my playing. Again, if I'm playing in G major or E minor, roll up into. Maybe drop down into. I mean, there's just a million different ways that you could approach this. So it's just an idea for you to think about this week as you're playing and practicing, trying to get a bit more motivated and find something that's interesting to try. Don't get stressed out if you don't understand all the logic behind it, or you don't understand the root and the third and all those things. It's okay, and I get it, and it's important to learn those things. But you always have to remember the reason that you're practicing. Maybe you're practicing theory, right? Maybe you're practicing application of theoretical ideas, and that's important. But sometimes maybe what you're doing is you're just practicing something that sounds more creative to your playing. Maybe this tells you, hey, I need to study more of my fretboard, or I need to understand a little bit more about whatever, picking or whatever. It could be all kinds of different things, but as you're practicing these things and you become aware of those, that's the kind of stuff that you should be working on. So today, what we're more concerned with is understanding that all of these things that we just talked about fit in the key of G major, which also means they fit in the modal alternative, which is A natural minor or A Aeolian, okay, or often just referred to as A minor, okay, and try and use those as best as you can in your playing. And again, looking for something more creative. So take care, stay positive, have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon, okay? Next time on the Steve Stine Guitar Podcast. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to look at a simple arpeggio idea that you can use in your solos. I'm going to try and give you some licks each week as well, so I can give you a bunch of different things to try and use in your playing. So what we're going to look at today is just taking a D major arpeggio and then trying to figure out how to get creative with that to create maybe a melodic idea in a solo or a song that you might be writing or something like that. So if we think about a D major chord, what we're playing is D, F sharp, and A. Those are the notes. And it's okay if you don't know that. Yes, you are in Tamil Chigawa, okay? Hey, Prayag, blasphemous, damn it. Hey, good to see you. Sanho. Some of these names are tough for me to pronounce, so I apologize if I'm butchering the name that you have here. So, all right, so thank you so much. Thank you, Norbert. So what we're going to do here is let's just think about this D chord. We have a D, F sharp, and A. And again, if you don't know your theory and you don't know those notes, don't worry about it. I'm going to show you this anyway. So if we went up here, for instance, to the second string, and we went all the way up to D. Okay, so what I'm doing is, for those of you that maybe don't know all your notes and that sort of thing, I'm taking the D major chord, and I'm simply visually moving it up one octave higher. So instead of playing on the second and third frets, I'm going all the way up to the 14th and 15th frets. Hey, William, Liam, Henry, Kevin, Joseph, Keith, Simon, James. So just visualize that, going from the second and third frets one octave higher to the 14th and 15th frets. So that's where we're going to be for starters. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the 15th fret with my middle finger. That note right there is D. And then I'm going to go to the first string on the 14th fret, and that note is F sharp. And then I'm going to go to the 17th fret of the first string, and that note is A, D, F sharp, and A. So what we're doing is we're taking those notes and we're creating an arpeggio out of those notes, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those same three notes and I'm going to move them into some other octaves, and then we're going to connect this whole thing together. And then I'll show you some different things that you can do with it. Hey, Niradri, Graham, Javi. So let's move down to the 12th fret of the 4th string. This note is also D. And I'm going to play middle finger on D, first finger on the 3rd string, 11th fret, that's F sharp, and then A. And now I'm playing one octave lower. So if you look at them, they look the same in terms of the fingering that I'm using. And they sound the same, except one is one octave lower. Hey, Scott, good to see you here, buddy. All right. Paul is here. Ravi is here. Shreddy Van Halen is here. Glad you're here. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a third octave, a lower octave, by going to the 6th string, the 10th fret. And we're going to do that same shape again, starting with our middle finger on D. We've got D, F sharp, and A. Hey, Ravi. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create some sequences or ideas to be able to use this in your playing by connecting them all together. Hey, Steve Stine here from GuitarZoom.com, and thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, can I ask you a favor? Please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. Your feedback means more to me than you'll ever know. And be sure to check out my YouTube channels where you'll find over 1,000 videos to help you with your guitar playing. Thanks again for listening. Stay positive, keep playing, and keep having fun.
If you'd like some help with your guitar playing but you're not sure how to get started, go to guitarZoom.com and look for the Help Me Choose survey. By answering a few simple questions, you'll get Steve's personal recommendation of the perfect course for you. All this and more is available for you at guitarzoom.com.